All right, guys, I got 1800 here. Let's go ahead and get started. It's good to see everybody again, or hear everybody. Been a while. Excuse me. Big yawn. Apologize for that. So let's see who we got here.
Not enough.
What's that?
I don't think we have a quorum.
We definitely don't have a quorum so far. So we'll get a couple minutes here.
Sure.
I don't know if Jeff Ansel, the new member, is supposed to be on. I think he's supposed to be going to Arizona either today or tomorrow. So I'm not sure he's going to be on. Sorry, gotta be yawning again.
You gotta take a nap or something, Adam.
Oh, Christ, man. It has been a hellish couple of weeks. So.
What do we need? 6 for a quorum?
5.
I thought 5, yeah.
5.
We got 5.
No, we
I don't
don't.
think that counts. I don't think we can count Adam in the quorum number.
I don't. I'm just a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, well, kind of go over things here, get an idea. We obviously can't vote on anything. I wanted to bring up real quick in the motions that were laid out in the agenda. I was going to reflect this tonight when I read out the motions. The language needs to be updated. We need to stop using the executive board language and switch to executive committee.
Okay.
I'm just I want that clarified going forward. And I know it's super easy to switch back and forth between the two because we were doing that for the longest time, switching back and forth between the two. But now that it is we reestablished the executive committee and the property and finance committee, that language has to be reflected just to make sure there's no hiccups going forward. So does that make sense?
It does.
Cool. Like I said, obviously we don't have a quorum here, so we can't vote on anything. I think all of us are yeah. All of us are sorry guys. I'm frustrated. I'm focusing here. We're all in the property and finance committee and or holding corporations. We've seen the minutes. Is there anything anybody wants to discuss from any of that? That feel we need to bring up? Obviously, we can't vote.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I would go ahead and make a motion subject to clarifying the bylaws, because I believe that as long as you are here, you can count as number 5.
Jeff Ansel just jumped on, Jeff Ansel is on.
I'm here.
Awesome. All right. So now we officially have a quorum, right?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Okay. So let's go down the list then. Let me get my agenda back up here. Welcome, Jeff, our new committee member. We all got our advanced copies of the agenda and all the materials per our bylaws that were sent out. We got a quorum now. Has everybody got a chance to go over the agenda?
I have. Yes.
All right. Can I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thanks, Jeff. Can I get a second?
Dave, second.
Dave, second. Awesome. All right. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Any discussion? Going once. Going twice. All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Considering it passed. And I need a motion to approve the February 16th, 2021 executive committee meeting minutes. Has everybody got a chance to read those?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Can I have a motion to approve them, please?
So moved.
Thanks, Jeff. Can I get a second? Mark, thank you. Any discussion?
Which one are we on now?
we're approving the executive committee meeting, the last executive committee meeting minutes.
Item 3.
Yeah, item 3.
All right.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, I'm gonna consider that passed. Just so everybody's aware, as you've probably guessed from my frequent yawning, I'm exhausted. So I am gonna try to push through this as quick as we can. Obviously, if discussion needs to happen, I'm not gonna stifle that or anything like that, but
Mhm.
all right. Dave, can you give us an update for the Property and Finance Committee activities?
Sure can. Let me do first. I'm going to go in and do a status update for the post, and I'll jump into the property and finance, and they're going to overlap a fair amount, so that should work.
Perfect.
As of the 12th of March, we had a historic AP showing a balance of 73,335. As of that same date, we paid off 172,879 in supplier debt. As of the same 3/12, we had a current AP balance of 8,800, which is mostly insurance, water, and electricity. As of today, we had a bank balance as follows. The Unity operational checking account was 29,406. The My Credit Union checking account was 11,009. The Unity membership checking was 20, and the My Credit Union membership checking was 27. We've talked for a while about trying to get over and pull money out of the safe. We thought we had approximately $3,700 in there. Diane and I got over today, pulled it out, and brought it over to My Credit Union to be counted and deposited. We deposited $86.23, so $8,623, which is why My Credit Union balance is over 11,000 right now. The new accounts at Unity Bank are all in place. We have a holding corporation checking account, a Legion operational checking, a Legion operational savings, and a Legion membership savings. Diane is also investigating whether or not there's a potential to get an SBA grant as opposed to a loan, and we'll keep you updated on that. If you look at the status of the Gun Club bridge loan and the Unity Bank line of credit, the Gun Club loan was received on 2/25, and that'll be repaid once we get the Unity line of credit. The good news is we have a closing schedule for the Unity Bank line of credit, and that's for tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. So Mark and I will be there to get that closing done. If you look at the inventory issues associated with Property and Finance Committee, Mike Hewitt is managing the project to deal with inventory and equipment. We're trying to get a dumpster scheduled in. Once we get a schedule for that, Mike will be asking for volunteers, working with Diane to send out a MailChimp to bring volunteers in to help dispose of food and beverages. The Property and Finance Committee approved of moving forward with a contract with Ace's Bid to hold an online auction of equipment. We put that initiative on hold for a shorter period of time till we can determine if there's title issues associated with equipment. We had found out that Shamrock had some equipment in there, and we didn't realize, they haven't brought it up or talked about it, but it turns out that equipment was leased to us. So they wanted to have it back. So what Mike wants to do is make sure that we don't have any other outstanding equipment out there that somebody else has title to. So what we're looking to do right now, I've reached out to Glenn. We're going to put a notice in some of the papers or wherever the appropriate places are to tell them that we have equipment, we're planning to go out of business. Speak now or forever hold your peace. If you have equipment in our facility, let us know. If not, we're going to sell it. And Mike is also going to schedule sometime in the future to let members come in, look at keepsake or mementos they may want, and we'll probably throw a bowl or something on the table to allow them to put donations in. So questions?
that stuff from Shamrock, and this is more for Mike, that was determined to be lease. As long as we're using it, then the lease amount was the servicing fee? Is that how that came about?
It's my understanding that it's actually their equipment. Diane's actually been, I think, more in contact here recently. I spoke with someone from Shamrock on it. I was going to meet them out there, but they had made it sound like I'd have to spend an entire day out there with them to retrieve their 4 or 5 multi-button soda guns, all of the carbonation equipment out of the basement, 2 dishwashers, and they, at that point, as to my knowledge, they had claimed that there were 2 floating type bars that might have been there that were their equipment as well. Diane and I have talked a bit. I'll let her, chime in on this here in a second, but that she's kind of the same feeling I am, that it's 14 months later, they really don't know what's out there, and they're not able to actually provide any proof of it. Some of it's probably their equipment, but we need to avoid any future Reinhardt Foods type stuff, down the road.
Right.
Yep. Diane, do you have anything more on that?
Thanks, Mike. No, I think you covered it pretty well. I'm working with the 2 people from Shamrock. They really don't know what's there and what's not there, what's been returned. So I've asked for a final list from them, what they have in their records. And I'm going to do a walkthrough myself and tag everything. And then I'll make arrangements for Shamrock to come in. It's about a 4-hour process to have them come in and take everything out. But at least that way we're on the same page before they come to our door.
Yep. And for everybody, my concern is that there is also the potential that there are other things. I was out there on Sunday. I swung in real quick just to make sure there are no broken windows and blah, blah, blah. But while I was there, I was like, let me take a little closer look. And that crane machine that, throw a quarter in it, and you can pull a stuffed animal out. I haven't called them yet, but I took a picture. There's a sticker on it that the crane guys, 763-792-9800 with a machine number on it. It's just, that's my concern at this point. If we allow someone to come in and potentially auction off everything without doing like what Dave has already said, that, hey, we're putting it on notice, that we could have people coming out of the woodwork, putting liens against us or judgments against us while we're in the process of trying to do a multi-million-dollar sale that could halt the brakes on everything. So we need to make sure our ducks are in a row, I guess.
Do
Absolutely.
we know if the crane guys are still in business?
I haven't called them yet. Like I said, it was just one of those things that was in the back of my head. I took a little closer look at the machine, and I found something there. I will call them tomorrow and see if they're in business, and because it's got a machine number on it, if they can say that, yes, this is definitely theirs, or maybe they went out of business because of COVID. We don't know, but do we want to find out, in September while things are being developed, that someone says X for this? So.
Right.
All right, sounds good. Dave, is there anything else from your report?
The only other thing is out there is the Property and Finance Committee approved the minutes of the February 15th meeting, which were attached.
Mhm.
So if anybody looked through that, has questions, please let me know.
All right, thanks, Dave. So we got 2 motions here, or actually we only got 1 motion. The first motion was to receive the financial report, but because it's tax season, our CPA hasn't quite gotten to that yet, which, I think that's understandable. So we'll get that approved when it comes in. Then the minutes like Dave mentioned, is everybody a chance to review those?
Yep,
I'm sorry, was that a yes or no?
that's a yes.
Okay, cool. All right, can I get a motion to accept the minutes, please?
So moved.
Thanks, Jeff. Can I get a second?
Second,
Take your pick there. All right, any discussion on that? Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. All those opposed? All right, consider that passed. Mark, Holding Corporation.
The minutes were included in the distribution. They've been approved by the holding corporation. I'd like to, does anyone have any questions further on them? We really didn't have any, our last get together was nothing where anything was voted upon. It was just, we hadn't got together as a group for probably about 5 weeks, so. We're just in a kind of a holding pattern. We've got a thing scheduled for the 7th of April where we're gonna sit down and discuss options about the layout and stuff moving forward. I think we said the 7th of April. And for all those that can make it. So has anyone who's not on the holding corporation present had a chance to look over the holding corporation minutes? Any questions? Looks like that would be Jeff and Andy. Anything on them?
No questions.
No, I have no questions.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion for the acceptance and moving them forward to the general membership. Make a motion to accept.
Can I get a second, please?
Dave,
Second.
second.
Dave or Jeff, take your pick. All right.
All right.
Is there any further discussion on that? Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, I consider that passed. Excuse me.
And as Dave said earlier, tomorrow he and I are meeting out in Brooklyn Center to close on the line of credit loan, and then we'll get that deposited into Dave will get that deposited into the checking account. Will you be able to do that tomorrow afterwards, Dave?
Probably won't happen till first thing Thursday morning. And directionally, if I'm looking at this thing, I think the intent would be is my recommendation is to put like 150K into the holding corporation account, and then we'll transfer that over to the operational checking account.
Well, the whole thing was going to go into our account, and that's where we were going to dispense from.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying based on the issues that Dennis had raised, he didn't want to keep money in the holding account any longer than necessary because of that Reinhardt thing.
Right, I remember that. All right, well, you guys can get that figured out then.
Yeah, so directionally, if anything, any money we pull in, we start using, we start paying interest on. So considering we have about, we have to pay back the gun club, and we got to still have about, $80,000 in debt right now. I'm thinking we move 150 in and leave the balance until we need to pull it out.
In which account? The holding corporation?
It doesn't. In other words, it still sits in the bank. It's a line of credit, Mark.
Oh.
We get the money as we pull it out. So
Yeah,
I'm suggesting we leave it in with the bank and we pull it as we need it.
Okay, all right, I follow. As long as we've got a paper trail to follow and present to everyone, because they're gonna want to see it. Rightfully so.
quick question. So if I understand right, the gun club bridge loan was approved on the 25th of February, correct?
It was received.
Received. Okay. What is the, I just want to know that we have paid the gun club back before the 30-day term is all.
It's due to them on April 15th, I think, or April 25th, something like that. If we
Okay.
close on this thing tomorrow, we should have funds available
Okay. Yeah,
on Thursday to
forget
pay it
about that.
back. With that said, is we, in that Unity bank account, we still have just short of 30,000 of the 50,000 we borrowed.
Yep.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
All right, sounds good. If nobody has any objections, we can go ahead and move along here. All right, we got two motions that pertain to our upcoming elections. First motion I will go over is to waive our standing rule number 11. This standing rule provides that members of the search and nominating committee must refrain from running for commander, vice commander, finance officer, executive committee members, or property and finance committee if they attend at least one search and nominating committee meeting. This rule may be waived if such persons have the approval of at least 5 votes of the executive committee. So basically, in light of our current membership numbers or membership participation numbers, we want to consider waiving this rule for the upcoming elections. And to do that, our legal team has put together a motion that they believe will cover that. I'll go ahead and read it off real quick here. I'm going to change one word in here again. It says executive board in the motion, but I'm going to read executive committee when I read this here. In accordance with the post 435 bylaws, Article 9 and 1998 to 1999 standing rule 11B of the Minneapolis Richfield Post 435 Department of Minnesota, the American Legion, the executive committee hereby suspends standing rule 11B until such time as it may decide to take additional action upon it. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
So basically indefinitely? Is that what that's implying?
Yeah, until then once we get in a better position where we have more membership participation, we can go back in and we can reinstate that rule.
Sure.
All right, so can I have somebody,
So moved.
thank you.
Second.
Second.
Looks like Lynn. Yep.
Can I get a second?
Lynn did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lynn, I didn't hear you.
I stuck it in late. Sorry.
Mike on the first.
Yeah, so Mike had the first, Lynn had the second. Appreciate it, guys. Is there any discussion on that? Does it make sense to everybody?
It makes sense.
I just consider that a follow-on to the one we previously passed, where people can serve on more than one committee.
Agreed. All right, any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, consider that passed. All right, the next one has to do with a membership log. The reason this is coming up is because, as we've discussed previously, we're going to have we're going to be mailing out ballots again this year, and people are going to be able to members are going to be able to vote by mail if they have COVID concerns or just they prefer to vote by mail, whatever, or they can bring their ballot in and drop it off at the meeting we're going to have the election at. So this, in order to get those ballots out, we have to have basically a final list. Excuse me. That we can then base that mailing off of. To that end, we want to have the cutoff date be March 31st. All right. That's the record date for membership shall be March 31st, 2021. So as long as somebody's renewed and are on that list, or excuse me, this basically has to do with new members. Guys who have never been a member, guys or gals who've never been a member of our post before, just brand new members. Those of us who have already renewed our dues, or we don't have to renew them yet, but are still good for the 2021 year. They're obviously going to be on that list as being valid voters. I kind of probably gave a real convoluted explanation of that. Does that make sense to everybody?
Just to clarify, right?
Yeah.
Since the period runs from July 1 through June 30, I'm assuming, and they have the 6-month grace period, I'm assuming if a member has not renewed by the end of December, they wouldn't be eligible in this election?
Yeah, so I think January was the end date. Mark, keep me honest here. Like in order to be renewed, you had to be in by January of this year.
January 31st.
Yep.
I guess I would say I would make one change to that. Our intent, we're really validifying, if that's a word, or just, this is the address we're using to send mail ballots out to.
Well, this is more saying if you're a paid up member, or by March 31st and you're on this list, that's the list of addresses we are going to use.
Right. But I'm just saying, Adam, if say someone does come in, on the 5th of April and they want to join for the current Legion year, all I'm saying is those are the addresses we are using as of 31 March. Anyone who joins after that would have to show up in person to cast their ballot. I think that should be the stipulation then.
Yep. And I would agree with that. Obviously they'd have to show that, hey, yep, I did pay my dues. I am joined up and everything like that.
Because then we won't catch any flack for, and we're not trying to deny anyone the opportunity to vote, but that gives them their option, or that gives them an option on how they can.
Yep. It's just for the sake of logistics at this point. Like, we have to have a list we got to use in order to get these ballots out.
Right. No, that's
Okay.
that's reasonable.
So I'm going to read the motion here as written. The Post 435 Executive Committee has reviewed the membership list /log of the Post dated March 18th, 2021, as provided by the membership director, Terry Hansen, and has determined that the list is a true, complete, and comprehensive list of the Post 435 membership as of that date. Additional members shall be added to this membership list if they register and pay the applicable dues through the National Legion website not later than 11:59 p.m. on March 30th, 2021. For the purposes of the Post 435 elections of April, May 2021, the record date for membership shall be March 31st, 2021. Those joining up to that deadline shall be added to the membership list for this election. Does that make sense? Now, there's a last line here. It says, those joining as members of Post 435 after that date shall not vote in the elections of April, May 2021. So I'm gonna read this again. I would say we remove that last line and insert those members joining after that date would have to vote in person.
Yeah.
At the May meeting. Would we say the May meeting that would be?
Yep.
Yep. Does that make
Agreed.
sense?
Agreed, Mark, yes. Or
Yeah.
Adam, yes. Yep.
And I'm actually also fine with that one.
Okay. So can I please have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Jeff.
Seconded.
Thanks, Mike. So as I read that motion, changing out the last line and adding in any members who join after that date shall vote in person at the May meeting.
Right.
Just to clarify, I'm assuming that if they join after that date, they'll have to have done it through the national site?
Yes, they'll have to have some sort of proof that they did that. I mean, now you're able to, once you renew online, you can like print off your membership card there, a copy of it.
Understand, I've done it, so I don't have an issue, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
We can't have, they're not going to be able to come in and give Terry a check or something. They're going to have to come through the national.
Exactly. And listen, I think this is going to be a very rare thing. You know what I mean?
I would
So,
agree.
all right. So all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. I'm going to consider that passed. Thanks, guys. All right, Andy, has a Legion Events Subcommittee proposal he wants to talk about. Andy, it's all yours. By the way, that is an epic beard.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the beard.
I don't know how to shave it now, so it's going to stay.
All right, Andy, go ahead.
Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about creating an events committee. I want to start with the American Legion mission statement. The statement goes to promote peace and goodwill to earth, to safeguard and transmit to prosperity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. Today I'm asking for the commander, with the approval of the executive board, to appoint a subcommittee that will focus on the mission for Post 435. I volunteer as the chair of this committee. I've started efforts by contacting people looking at opportunities / projects to involve youth and helping other veterans. Some of the possibilities of the first projects include restoration of veterans' graves headstones, going back all the way to the Revolutionary War. This may be as simple as sending a letter from Post 435 to the VA making a request. They will complete the project at no cost to the post. As we look at different projects, we will look at opportunities to fundraise, fundraisers to support our activities. The subcommittee at this time will not have an end date and have the autonomy to operate with the oversight from the executive committee, since the bylaws state that such events fall under executive committee's review. The subcommittee would make a report back each month outlining how post projects were accomplished and what projects were coming up. I would like to move the motion that the Legion Event Subcommittee, with myself as chair, be approved.
Awesome. So Andy, how many people do you anticipate being on this subcommittee? Like, are you looking at like 3 or 4? What are you thinking?
I mean, even just 2 or 3 more people this year, nothing huge I think is going to come up, but if we can just kind of show our presence in the community and show that we're still around.
Agreed. Okay. Yeah, I think, and I've been saying this for a while, and Andy, I want to thank you for kind of bringing this forward. I've been saying for a while now, with our posts being so mired, and all, and all the trials and tribulations of the last year, we've definitely gotten away from the Legion mission. I mean, and I think it's understandable why that happened. We had some pretty serious things to take care of, but now that things are calming and stabilizing, it's time to get back towards the Legion mission. And I think this is a great first step. So with that said, can I please have a motion to establish a Legion Events Subcommittee with Andy Keller as the chair of that committee?
Dave, so moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second that one.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Any discussion on that? And I think going forward, Andy, or anybody on the executive committee here, if you want to get involved in that, please reach out to Andy. And Andy, you can put a list together of people you think would be good fits, and just let the executive committee know, and we can figure it out from there. And
Adam,
Diane,
I do have a point of clarification just to make
Yes,
sure
sir.
I'm understanding. Do you envision this subcommittee as that the chairman of that being an elected position, or is that going to be an appointed position like the historian or one or the chaplain type position?
in this situation, given our bylaws, the commander has the ability to create subcommittees. I'm just, for the sake of transparency and stuff like that, that's why I thought a motion would be a good idea. And so I think once we get a list of people on there, and Andy gives his recommendations, I believe the commander can appoint members of that subcommittee. I'll need to clarify that. And
I don't
then
disagree. I just wanted to make sure directionally if we were all understood
no, yeah,
in the
that's fine.
future, how do we think it would be managed?
Yeah, and man, I don't really have a good answer for that. I think that's something we can kind of figure it out as we go. I mean, who knows? Down the road, we might not need the subcommittee anymore. We can just absorb it back into the executive committee, and just go from there. Who knows? All right. So if anybody wants to be on that, please reach out to Andy. Diane, in our next MailChimp release, we can probably put a notification that subcommittee has been created. Andy, if you start getting more people, I don't see any reason why to keep them off. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Anyone is welcome.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. So is there any additional discussion on that? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that is passed. So the major activities report, has everybody had a chance to read that?
Yeah.
That's the summary report of major activities. Holding Corporation. Dan, is there any updates on that? I mean, nothing really changed.
No, it's really to forward to the membership, so they really see how
Right.
active things are without club operations.
Sounds good. All right, does anybody have any questions regarding that report or anything they need clarification on? All right, can I please have a motion to pass or to accept that into the record?
So moved.
Thanks, Jeff. Can I have a second?
Second, this is Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, signify that's being passed. All right, so we got our next general
Adam,
membership.
can I bring up one, Adam? I just realized that as I was thinking,
Yes, sir.
the line of credit with Unity Bank. I had seen some correspondence coming through for legal, talking about they want to formalize a loan document between the holding corporation and the post. Do we need to accomplish that? Or make a motion to manage that one? I saw it and I understood it, but we hadn't talked about what we need to do and what the next steps are.
Well, let's get clarification then from legal because, man, I've had a flurry of emails. I must have missed that one. So let's get clarification on that.
Okay, Diane, am I mistaken, or did I see you send an email to Glenn asking him to draft the documents?
Yes, I did. That was as recommended by Dennis. Again, the Reinhardt thing. So the actual loan documents are in process.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So March 31st is our general membership meeting. It's gonna be a hybrid meeting, 12 post at VFW post 1296 in Bloomington, as well as online via Zoom. We'll see how this goes. I'm actually looking forward to meeting in person again. Yeah, so it's gonna be COVID protocols, so on and so forth. All right, is there anything else that I am missing or may have forgotten? I readily admit I may have forgotten.
Mark here, I just wanted to put it out there. I've talked to most everyone on here about with regard to the search and nominating committee, but I see we have Lynn Lyons on. Lynn, are you interested in being on the ballot for, I think your position was up this year, correct? Or are you on a 2-year and you have 1 more year to go?
Over.
What's that?
I think it's over.
Okay, so your position is up then for election then? Do you want
I believe
to?
so.
Okay, if it, and on that, with that understanding, would you want to pursue would you want to be on the ballot for re-election to it, or?
I gotta think about it.
Okay, let us know as soon as you come to that conclusion then, okay?
All right.
I've talked with a couple people. Julia, she doesn't want to be on something that she's elected to right now, coming into her involvement now with the Legion. She's willing to go on to one of those appointed positions or act as an assistant. Jeff and I talked, and he's on the ballot. Everyone else here is as such, and we have Jim Munson also seeking a position on the holding corporation.
Sounds good.
If you talk to people and they're still interested, just have them get in touch with me, and we'll get their name on the ballot in the appropriate spot where they want to be. So there's still time.
Andy, that Julia might be a good fit for that Legion events subcommittee too. It's an important thing. So we can, I'll get that. I or somebody will get her information. You can reach out to her, kind of explain what our goals are and stuff with that. All right, is there anything else I'm forgetting?
Andy agreed to add his name to the search and nomination committee. Thank you, Andy.
Perfect. Thanks, Andy. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? If I forgot anything, reach out to me, let me know. I will get an email out to the executive committee to at least get discussion going. And we can figure out next steps there if I forgot anything. All right, our next meeting will be, next executive committee meeting, I should say, will be April 20th at 6. Still via Zoom. We're all kind of spread out the metro, so I think Zoom will probably be a good idea going forward for now. All right, does anybody else have anything else they want to bring up? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved, Mark.
All right, Mark, second.
Second.
All right, Jeff, thank you, Jeff. All right, need much discussion there, and all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, have a good night, ladies and gents. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
You all.